The first time you realized there was something strange about the new hire was when you learned his age. In your defense, it's never been easy to guess the age of an alien. The wrinkles on a trillion might smooth out over time, while for a human they arrive piecemeal. Apparently, they don't get their full set until well past their first century, and it's rare for one to make it past their second. So they were a young species, and this one in particular was basically a child. Smooth as flimsy, younger than your own youngest. It was rare for someone in engineering to be below 70, but from what you'd heard, this one was in his 30s. It stood out to you. Not so much that you spent long moments thinking about it, but enough that it caught your attention. Enough that you kept looking. The second time you realized there was something strange about the new hire was when you mentioned the latest ship to get lost mid-voyage. He looked up at you with those disturbing forward-facing eyes, predator's eyes, and you saw something like dread shine out. A strange dread, though, not one you recognized. Not a self-preservation, but something deeper and harder and far more desperate. Then he'd rambled off more details about it than you knew yourself. The ship number, the crew, the last maintenance it had, the most likely cause of failure, improper upkeep of the cooling fins. Afterwards, he did this every time there was an accident. It was like he'd been waiting for you to bring it up, and now that you had, he could finally share this secret obsession with you. It worried you sometimes. There was clearly something lost in the abyss that he couldn't help gazing after. But even then, you knew better than to ask. You didn't mean to find the third realization. You'd stopped by his workstation to ask him a question about the B-dot in the ship's Klestrom messenger. He'd left his computer open, and more importantly his browsing data. You didn't have to search it to see the ship he'd been looking up. It was a standard freight hauler, carrying ice back and forth between stations back in the Sol system. You saw the repair history for the ship at that moment, and it still didn't click. Improvements to the hull, upgrades on the B-dot sensor, a full rework of the cooling fins. It wasn't until a few days later when you found yourself looking up the same ship again, scratching at that mild curiosity, that you connected the dots. The service history, the repairs, the destinations, those were all red herrings. It was the face of that ship's captain that you recognized. The same face as your co-workers, but somehow even younger. Lighter. Shining and joyful and weightless. Family. You kept it secret because it felt secret, but you never forgot. Long after that job, long after that ship was slag waiting to get recycled, you still remembered that final epiphany. And perhaps more important, you remembered that desperate, dreadful look, back when you mentioned the first lost ship.